welcome to the Thursday edition. And Sean and Amadeus, we're all here. And I watched some French soccer yesterday, and not too exciting, frankly, but it was entertaining. What guys were you watching yesterday?
I was bouncing around to the Real Madrid Super Cup, and then the Wolves and Nottingham Forest, and then obviously the City and Southampton game. And thankfully for Manchester United, and for whenever Foxy shows up, the Southampton showed up, and City was terrible yesterday. So they have. I don't understand. When you watch, I don't understand why this team is still favored in all these cups. I think when they, at some point, you're gonna start to see City start to some of these teams start to maybe catch them in the odds. They're terrible. They didn't have a shot on goal. He kind of thought he could walk it without Holland, and they're out of the cup.
Yeah, I was watching the Lille one. There was I don't know, there's some dodgy things happening in that Lille match, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, PSG showed up yesterday. Real Madrid didn't show up in the second half. The both teams to score.
Hold on, my apologies.
Bill, Fulham. I'll be honest. I don't think it's an upset there.
Yeah, the lines are just wrong.
I think Fulham is better than Chelsea right now. I know João Felix probably going to score today, but so is Mitrovic. Bill, we'll just I'm going to just jump out here. Southampton double chance, Forest double chance, Ekitike anytime, Valencia double chance, perfect day. Yeah, and you got a decent draw, so you stayed away from the big boys there, folks. See the new favorites to win the Carabao Cup. So good day for you guys. Bill, when you look at this, look at the odds here. Fulham at every time I look at this, Fulham goes up to they're up to close to plus 300. I mean, the double chance today minus 117. Foxy, jump in here if you think as well. This Fulham team, I don't know. I would probably take a chance on the money line. They're at plus 290 now. It just went up in front of my eyes. You got Mitrovic. Maybe Mitrovic isn't playing. Let's see.
Chelsea has like a ton of injuries, though. They had so what? João Felix.
Oh, Mitrovic is suspended. That's right. Yeah, no, Mitrovic suspended. That kind of changes my mind a little bit, but I just still think Fulham as a team is a little bit better. But no, Mitrovic is pretty big. Yeah, look, I don't think this Chelsea team is very good. Once again, you look at the table; they're in 10th. Win today would move them ahead of Fulham here, or even on at least even if it's a 1-goal win, they would be even on points and even on goal difference. And Chelsea right now is 10 points behind Manchester United with the same amount of games played, which is and obviously Newcastle because they're both on 35 points. Did say I don't trust the League One teams, dodgy buggers. Yeah, Foxy. I think sometimes I'm gonna. Amadeus and I were talking about this. How before the before the show about these teams on the road are a little bit. I like Lons at home. I like Lons at home is 9-0. On the road, it gets tougher. These teams play. They even the bad teams sometimes will pick up points. I think it's like that in a lot of leagues. The Premier League is a little bit different. But yeah, no, it was a good day yesterday. A good day of action, and Amedeus, your AC Milan lost in extra time there.
I didn't even watch that. It was I watched like 20 minutes of it, and it was so boring. I was like, who cares if they get kicked out? And sure enough, they got kicked out.
Yep. Yeah, I think this game, there's some, there's not a huge schedule today. Games. I mean, there's Blau Giel is playing Utrecht in the KNVB Becker. If you fancy that, Betis and Barcelona, I think will be a pretty good game. Hopefully I'm done with my taping my show later to watch that. I think Betis will give them a lot of problems. Roma, Genoa, Fiorentina, Sampdoria, and then of course Fulham and Chelsea at 3:00. So that's the showcase game of the day. Anytime the Premier League is on, I think that's always going to be the showcase game of the day. But yeah, there's a lot of other stuff going on today, so we'll see. Hopefully, my guy. I don't know if you tuned into Boo Lou, the capping guru last night, but it was 45 minutes of silence. So it was a fantastic show. Hopefully,
everybody needs a little quiet time.
Yes.
Oh, not the accidental mute.
He's like, oh, I went 4-10-3 yesterday. How come nobody bought my picks? I said, your show was 45 minutes of silence. But yeah. So and he asked if don't really think as a Fulham if it would be an upset at the moment with Chelsea with the 13 injuries. Betis double chance right now. Bill is decent money. I think it was plus 180. I don't mind that. Barca. Only thing Potter could be under serious pressure with another loss, so I think he'll plot a draw at least. I can't imagine. I mean, Foxy, do you? I know this guy. They just hired him. Do you think he's going to be? I mean, I agree. I think he could be under pressure because you got Pochettino there, like like a hawk. So but this guy Bowley, I mean, man, if he spends $500 million and just throws all these players into the squad, and then all of a sudden fires the coach, you see what Forrest did. They stayed with this guy. They brought all these players in, and they signed him to a long-term deal because it's a project. Chelsea. Honestly, I hope they do get rid of him because then they're worse than Roman. So, but yeah, look, I don't know. I think that Betis double chance is a decent play. Yeah, there'll be some interesting games I think today. But there's other.
Well, if you really wanted, you could even take the Betis +1 to give yourself that extra cushion in case they lose by one, because Barcelona's what, -225 right now?
Yeah, Real Betis +1 is at plus 120-ish. Betis plus 1.25 is like -115. So like it's crazy. Yeah. I think that's a decent play. So
yeah, you take the +1 at plus money, and then you get a little cushion. Even if you lose, it's not going to be 3-0 as we saw yesterday. It is on a neutral site too, so it's not like you're asking fans to travel.
He's okay spending $10 million on a 4-month loan. He wouldn't surprise me seeing Potter said, yeah, no, I don't even know what I hope they do, man. That's Team Chaos. They're a mess. They're really, really a mess. And I couldn't happen to a better team unless it was,
No offense, Sean, but they're the new Man United in the sense
Oh,
where,
100%.
They're buying random players and just throwing them at the team. You're getting the wrong management in there. Like, it's just, man, Boley doesn't know what he's doing. It's like he bought the team and like he has no idea what to do with it. So, like I said, he's just buying up. He sees, okay, Man United's going for this guy. Newcastle's going for this guy. Arsenal's targeting this guy. So let's just buy everybody these other teams are targeting. And, maybe it helps us down the stretch.
Here's the other issue now, because the new financial fair play laws come in. So, what are they going to do next year? Like, they're going to get rid of, like, you're not going to be able to do this next year. You're going to have to be able to sell players and then buy players. I mean, even that's what they just said with United. Like, look, even when the new owner is coming in and clearing the debt, like, you have to, you're going to have to sell players to buy. Like, you Manchester United is self-sustaining because there's like a commercial powerhouse.
Yeah.
Like, they can't just buy.
They're like the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, you can't go out and buy 7 players though, because there's nowhere to put them. Their squad's not big enough, so they're going to have to sell. I mean, there's a list of Harry Maguire and Lindelof and players. I mean, they've been there's a list of players they're going to get rid of, Wan-Bissaka and stuff like that. Although if Wan-Bissaka keeps playing like he is now, maybe they keep him. But Chelsea's a mess, and the problem is now it's Abramovich was using it as a I don't want to say a front, but he was using it to legitimize all this stuff that was going on, and turned it into all of this. So he was, bringing money through it and buying players. So, he was also a winner. Like, he wanted to win. Both these other teams, the Dodgers aren't, they're in the World Series. They were
in the World Series.
They only won one, it's, against the Rays. But,
and that's the thing with Chelsea, right? Like, they've won one Champions League in the 3 years that they were good, when they had Tuchel as the manager and were actually defensively suffocating teams. But they didn't get a title out of it. They got a lot of cup matches, as you keep touching on, cup wins. But yeah, like you won maybe one Champions League, and you didn't get the Premier League title. So how successful really were you in that stunt?
The best thing that ever came out of that was that they won the Champions League and stopped City from doing it. So, because now Chelsea's going to fade into oblivion, and City still doesn't have a European Cup. City still has less European Cups than Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest. So that's the best thing that ever came out of it. But it's interesting. I think now, Thursday, starting to kind of ramp up the NFL. Jim, which game are you kind of most excited to watch on the weekend?
I think it's going to be, on the weekend. I think the 49ers game, because that'll be the third time that the 49ers played the Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
And Pete Carroll's pretty good at coming up with some strong defenses. So I don't know, and there was Joe Bosa was, he's not questionable, but he got dinged in the last game of the season. So I don't know. I think that could be competitive. And then if the Bucks and the Dallas Cowboys on Monday night, but I will say the Ravens and the Bengals will probably be a pretty good game.
Yeah, it's interesting. Those are the two of the three. I mean, the Bills are 13.5. Those are the two biggest lines on the board, other than the Bills. They're both the Bengals keep going up now. They're up to 8.5. The Bills are minus 13. The 49ers are minus 9.5. So, it's a little bit, like you said, you play that team the second time, and it's always pretty interesting. This will be the third time they've played, and they had the first game, Trey Lance started and broke his leg.
Right.
And Garoppolo came in. I was trying to see if that happened. The second time, Garoppolo never played, and it was Purdy that started. So this will be the third game, and they faced all three San Francisco quarterbacks this year. McCaffrey had a monster game in the second one, 26 carries for 108 yards. I was talking to Mark Echo yesterday. He's a little bit down on the 49ers. He doesn't think they're as good as everyone thinks here, but I'm not. I don't know. I think it's more to do with the fact that no rookie quarterback has gone to the Super Bowl, and then is it going to be the Mr. Irrelevant that finally does it? So that would be pretty interesting, but. They're pretty good to me. I mean, I don't know. I don't see them losing until I don't see any way they lose to Seattle here. But if Geno Smith has a big game, if Minnesota beats the Giants, that could be interesting. But
the thing with the San Francisco deal. It's really going to boil down if they can put a pass rush on Geno, then that's going to be a problem for the Seahawks. If they don't put a pass rush on him, he actually has got his accuracy is pretty good, so that could bode well for for the Seahawks. But once again, the key for the 49ers is their defense on one side, which is outstanding, and their running game.
Yeah,
they make the games shorter. Hey, one quick fun stat, guys. Going back to the college football championship on Monday, that 58-point spread, winning spread, was the historically the largest win by any team in a bowl game.
Yep.
From the Elias Sports Bureau.
Yeah. TCU was completely. They're it's easy to say that the final was the Ohio State Georgia game. Whoever won that game was gonna annihilate TCU. TCU just they're not. It just shows. I mean, I don't know. It just kind of Michigan just blew it. I mean, they're Michigan's never going to win anything. If Harbaugh was smart, he'd go to the pros. And it's just, these teams can't compete with Georgia. I mean, you have to be able to just be faster, stronger. You just can't do it. The only teams really since the last decade that have been able to do it are the ACC teams. Florida State beat Auburn.
Right.
Clemson beat Alabama twice. But that's it. I mean, it's just, I know Ohio State was in there, a while ago, but, that one game. But, it's been the ACC teams that have been able to compete against the SEC teams. And it's really only been, at Florida State with Winston and Clemson in that era. But, now, when you look at the preseason, I saw something. A
lot of people are, obviously Georgia's got the lead in the preseason.
Florida State is top. They preseason going to be top 4.
LSU's in there.
I think. Yeah, LSU. I think it's, this is, the Florida State team. They finally won 10 games. I thought that's why look, this bowl game for me for Florida State was huge. They haven't won 10 games in forever, since 2016. They won it. They won it against Auburn, going down the field there. They got to the playoff the next year and lost to Oregon. And then they kind of haven't been back. But, they got a really good quarterback coming back. They have a bunch of players coming in. They're going to be top 5, top 4 team in the country preseason, which they haven't been in a long time. LSU. But, I think some of these teams, you see like, Michigan, at TCU, this is like a once in a lifetime kind of thing. Like they're not, it's not really going to happen again. But these teams like Michigan, they have these chances and they blow these windows, and all of a sudden that window closes because, maybe Ohio State gets better. You got Alabama, Tennessee. Alabama's going to be better. Florida State's going to be better. USC is going to be better, and this window closes, and you're done. Vikings. Yeah. Foxy's asking Vikings should beat the Giants, and Foxy, Sean, what do you think about Juventus Napoli draw tomorrow? Amedeus, I'll defer to you on that. But
who's at home? I haven't looked at.
Tomorrow is Napoli.
Oh. That's it's going to be an interesting one because Juventus doesn't give up goals, but they definitely don't score goals on the road. So if anybody's going to win this match, it's going to be Napoli.
Get Napoli at plus 100 too.
Honestly, Bill, under 2.5 at minus 125. We saw Napoli get held to 1-0 against Inter Milan. Juventus, they're not going to score in this match. Even their last 2 wins, I watched both games. They beat Cremonese on the road 1-0 on a 90th minute. It was in stoppage time, a free kick. They happened to score on the free kick. If they don't score that free kick, that game's 0-0. And then again in their last match, I forget who it was they played, but they were at home, and it took them 85 minutes to score a goal. So I don't know, something about Juventus. I don't like this attack right now. Their starting strikers are Malik and Keane. I mean, it's not great. They have also a lot of injuries too in the midfield. So I would lean more to Napoli. I don't know if Juventus can hold them to dry. I know they've won 9 straight, but I still think to me Juventus is like the Vikings. They're the biggest fraud in Italy.
I would take Napoli at home. I don't know. I just think they're a better team at home, but at home they're unbeaten. Juventus is really good at home. Both teams are unbeaten at home. Juventus is really good at home. On the road, Juventus is 4-2-2. They've scored 5 goals in 8 games. So, away Napoli, obviously. Napoli is very good away. Napoli at home has allowed 6 goals and scored 21. So they're scoring about 3 goals a game at home against every team they play. So, I mean, to me, I would go Napoli. At plus money, too. I mean, I think that's pretty interesting. Bill, Foxy, this I give you a little insight into kind of sometimes what I'll do for these games. Sometimes if I'm looking, I'll go to the mat. I like this ESPN thing. It gives me a little thing, matchup predictor. Now, it's not perfect, but this gives Minnesota 57.3% chance to win the game. The Giants, it's not. You see, for example, the Bills probably going to be 90%, 96% chance to win the game. So this line really should probably be about 17 or 18 because Tua is not playing. So they're going to get killed.
And we still don't know if it's going to be 2-glove Teddy or for Skylar Thompson.
But here Cincinnati 71.3% chance.
We don't know if Lamar is playing though, right?
We don't know. Yeah, I can't tell you.
Even if he's playing, he hasn't played in a month.
Yeah, I can't tell you to bet that game. It's probably longer than that at this point. I mean, yeah, it
seems like he's just saved himself for the contract for next year at this point.
Yeah. So Foxy, of all the games, there's 2 games. If it goes down to 2.5, I would take the Vikings. I think Vikings probably win the game. It's going to be close. It's probably going to be about a 3-point game. It's going to be close. Of all the games on the board that I think is an ups, I think there's 2 games that could be upsets because Jacksonville Chargers maybe, but like I think that Tampa Bay could beat Dallas, and it's not really that much of an upset because Tampa Bay's at home. And I think the Giants could, if everything goes the right way, they could beat the Vikings. The Chargers, Jacksonville is more of a pick'em game. I don't know why that line keeps moving. It was like -1, but
yeah, and it makes me want to take the Jags.
What's that?
It makes me want to take the Jags. The more
if everybody's taking the Chargers here and everybody's blah blah blah, yeah, no, I think I might actually. If everybody's on the Chargers, I might take the Jags.
Wait till it gets to 3 though, because it's moving in that direction, and it looks like. I think the Jaguars are just, man. It's got to be. It's coaching. It's Doug Peterson is a way better coach than your favorite guy in the world, Sean Brandon Staley. So, obviously the Jags have a big coaching advantage. Even in, the Vikings game, like Kevin O'Connell is a first-year coach. I know so is Brian Daboll. But, like, Kevin O'Connell was handed a team with a ton of talent on it, and it's like, here's a Ferrari. Okay, make it go 200. It hasn't been driving as fast lately because maybe the guy we had driving it before didn't like going too fast. So make it go. With the Giants, the way I look at it, Brian Daboll, like Daniel Jones, I still don't think is a good quarterback. He's not the guy. But when you can take a player like that and you dress it up and make it look nice and smell nice. When it's a bad player, you got to give some credit to the coaching staff there. And I think Brian Daboll, I think he's a better coach as well.
I think you're right.
Well, look, there's 5 first-year head coaches in the playoffs.
I think that's, you'd like to see it. I mean, when you have guys that don't know that their team is out of the playoffs and I just think it's time you got to get some new blood in there. And, I don't mind that. I think it's finally, you're finally getting some of those new people in there and new minds, and you got different ideas. So I think sometimes, and maybe you'll see a weird result here or something like that. I wouldn't be stunned to see, one of these teams.
But you know what, Sean and Amedeus, look at these. One of the things that these teams have in common is these are some of those quarterbacks that were in national championship type games. You got Lawrence in Jacksonville. You got Burroughs in Cincinnati. I mean, you got those guys that played at the highest level in college and now have stepped in and haven't missed a beat in the pros.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that just reinforces my point about Brian Daboll even more. He took this nobody kid from Duke, Daniel Jones, who was really like the fan base and just everything around Daniel Jones over the last few years. This guy was on his last leg standing with the team. He wasn't going to be there next year, and they got to 10 wins. So I got to give credit to the coaching staff at that point. I think when you can take a player like that and really, he wasn't given much to work with. Look, they traded Kadarius Toney, who was arguably one of their most talented receivers at the beginning of the season. But they've found ways to make it work. They took their Saquon Barkley running back, who everybody thought was done, and they said, "All right, you were our first round pick a few years ago. And we're gonna make it so," because the media was really harsh on him for years because he's so injury prone. But they made it so we're gonna build the team around you. We're gonna scheme it around you, and we're gonna run the ball, and you're gonna not only revive your career here, but we're gonna actually be a good team. And I didn't think the Giants were good at the beginning of the season. If I'm being honest, I thought they were going to be another, like 4-win team, and it had nothing to do with Dayball. It just had everything to do with the fact that Daniel Jones was still there. They couldn't do what they wanted to do this year because Mara told them Daniel Jones is your guy, right? Usually when you bring in a GM and a new head coach, they want to pick their own quarterback. There's always a disconnect there when you give them a quarterback and tell them you're going to work with this guy. So, I give him credit for everything he did. It's not like Minnesota situation where, they were winning. They were a 10-win team. They were going to the playoffs before this. Really, their only obstacle was Green Bay for the longest time. Like Kirk Cousins, they gave him the big money years ago. They have Justin Jefferson. They even had Stephon Diggs like a few years ago too. So like their wide receiver, there's never been an issue with the offense. Really, they've always had a good defense under Mike Zimmer when he was there because they're more of a defensive. He was more of a defensive guy. But I don't know. I don't like the Vikings. I just don't like the Vikings.
Well, and the Giants also was their division they were in. Everybody was above 500 for most of the year.
Yeah, exactly. They're almost all 4 teams were in the playoff hunt, basically up to week 17.
Until Washington screwed up a week before the final game of the season.
Until Ron Rivera realized that, or didn't realize it.
Not make the playoffs.
Wait, sorry. We could be out today?
Yeah, you're out already, Ron.
Yeah. At 4:00 if Green Bay beats whatever. And he's just like, Wish I knew that.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not do that? I get you can make the excuse that, I come into the game with the mentality that we're going to win every game. We don't need to know the standings. But at the same time, you need to know if you're going to get eliminated or not.
Well, also, if you're going to sit there and talk about it.
Yeah. It was just, and I like Ron Rivera. I think he's a great coach. So, like, I was shocked when I saw that. I was like, oh, my God, egg on your face.
Foxy says Dallas seems Spursy. I think that's probably a very apropos way to put it. Yes, they are. They've had really good teams over the last 20 years, and they haven't really done anything.
Well, they made Tony Romo a lot of money.
Yes, that's correct.
As a broadcaster.
So maybe Dak's got a bigger check coming his way too.
Well, look, the LA team, both LA teams might end up with a new head coach.
Yeah, Sean McVay, I don't know what he wants to do.
I know he's got this kind of Zen thing going, right? And that is, let me take some time and think about it.
Yeah, people around him are like he's dissatisfied with his career in the NFL. Like you're literally like you're before the age of 40. You've been to 2 Super Bowls and won one. Like,
right.
You've been a head coach for 5 years, 6 years, not even, and like in the NFL anyway. And you're dissatisfied with your career and what you've done in 6 years,
right.
And you don't want to be a part of a rebuild anymore in LA. I don't know what he wants to do. I mean, he turned down the broadcasting money already.
Right.
And his whole excuse was, I'm not ready for it. And I'm sure when I am, someone else will be knocking. And you know what? He's probably not wrong.
Yep.
Well, the money that he was being offered was from Amazon.
Oh,
they wanted to put him with Al Michaels.
Yeah.
He said no, and they ended up with Kirk Herbstreit, and he did a great job. So
I saw he did the national championship game too. That guy's everywhere on College Football Saturday. I'm surprised. Surprised he can do all that.
Well, yeah, they beam him up. It's everywhere.
Yeah, because he's doing Amazon and ESPN on weekends. Oh my God.
He does bar mitzvahs. He does weddings.
Just hire him. You rip the little. I said the poster outside on the telephone pole. You just got to rip his number off and get Kirk Herbstreit.
That's all you got to do.
Stuff for you.
You got a phone. You got Kirk Herbstreit. But anyway, what was I going to say? It seems to me that in all these conversations, the Chiefs always get overlooked. It's like, let's talk about it. Oh yeah, them. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. They just keep
just
their
because they're not playing this week. They're too
No,
good.
true,
They're not
true.
playing.
Yeah, they'll be there. They'll be there probably on. Although, look, if if the Chargers beat Jacksonville and have to go play in Kansas City, that could that'd be an interesting game. I think the Chiefs want no part of that game. I think the Chiefs would rather see Jacksonville.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, look, the Chiefs will be there. I think everybody's just thinking the Bills are inevitable at this point because of all the stuff around them. So,
well, I mean, the storyline works for them.
Yeah,
you still have to play on the field, but the storyline works.
If the Bills go to the Super Bowl, they already have all the headlines and the story written, so it works out.
It writes itself.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one of those things where the newspaper writers only have to put the final score in. They got everything else written.
Yep.
Exactly. It's a whole article about DeMar Hamlin, and then just at the end, Bills beat Bengals, blah blah blah, to the Super Bowl.
Right. And it was nice to see he's home.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. They finally
dismissed from the hospital. I heard some people say, "Well, you think he'll go to the game?" It's like, dude, he's just been out of 2 hospitals with a heart issue.
Yeah.
So maybe no.
Get your bowl of popcorn and watch from the couch at home.
Right.
That's your best bet.
Yep.
You don't want to aggravate
life.
anything else.
You almost died last week. Just enjoy life for right
now.
Your team is doing fine without you for now. Just let them go get the ring for you.
Yep.
Because now you're giving them motivation to play for something more.
100%. So okay. Anything else, boys? What's thing that you're gonna be doing today? Any games that you really think everybody should tune into?
Fulham Chelsea.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, Fulham Chelsea.
That's the game. I mean, that 3 p.m. I think that's an interesting game. I think if no Mitrovic, if Fulham can win this game or get a draw, I think you got to start taking them seriously as a European contender. Chelsea. I think Chelsea has to win this game. If they don't, I mean, they're in trouble of falling back to they won the title and then finished like they were 16th in like February the year after that. I mean, they're in trouble. Like they'll be in the bottom half of the table. They're a mess. They got injuries. But so no, I think that's interesting. Betis and Barcelona, you can watch the first half of that and then tune over. But I think that's the game.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's a slower Thursday today. Those are the only 2 good games. I wish Ligue 1 didn't put all 10 games between 1 and 3 on Wednesday, but maybe I'd have something else to watch today, but that's fine. We don't make the schedule.
State League start in Brazil there, so Flamengo, Fox will be watching Flamengo. So yeah, those
nighttime action.
That Liga MX has started and stuff. So you got some night games. If you're South Central America, North American League, stuff like that will be starting. So
gonna have to start getting back into the Brazil League. Loved the Brazil League this year. I did great in the Brazil League. So.
Hey, by the way, anybody in Canada, they will have to watch MLS games on Apple TV because Apple TV has international rights.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Not that you're gonna sign up this minute and get it done, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I guess I won't be watching MLS games. I'm not an Apple guy, and I refuse to buy Apple TV.
Well, there you go. You can just here's the thing. You can buy it. You can buy it and you get 5 logins. Okay. So get 4 other friends to chip in and then everybody can get the login.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. The season's starts, I guess, March.
No, it starts the end of it.
February.
End of February.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Well, Sean,
Where else I can find it?
Sean, didn't you say that they play one game in the afternoon and then they play all the rest of the games?
All the other games are at 7:30 and 8:30 at night. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Opening night too. Like, just why don't you spread the games out like the Premier League does? No, they don't. It's just like I can't. It's getting to the point where I'm sick of talking about like.
I saw the tweet you tagged me in too. It was about paying $6 a month for Peacock to watch the Premier League, and then $15 a month to watch these MLS games that you can't even watch all the games because they're all
we're all at the same time. I mean, it's crazy. Peacock, you can you watch the games later than the next day or with the highlights, all that stuff.
Right.
You'll be able to do that with Apple TV too. But I mean, I'm not paying to watch something where there's 10 games at 7:30 and 10 games at 8:30. You can't even watch the games, and there's no way that you can catch up with them. You're not going to sit there and watch 10 games every weekend. With the Premier League, the games are spread out, and then the couple games that maybe you miss because there's 3 games at 10 o'clock or 4 games at 10 o'clock. You can watch the highlights or watch one of them or something like that later. But you're not watching 6 7:30 matches. You're going to watch one, and then I'm not going to sit there and watch the rest of them, even if they're good games. And there's 10 games at 7:30 and 8:30. It doesn't make any sense to me. But they don't. I just think they have some kind of complex about going up against other sports. I don't know what it is, but it just doesn't make much sense to me. So,
well, not to worry. We will. This too will be looked into.
Yes.
So there you go, boys and girls. All right. So no final things. We'll just get out of here for a Thursday.
Bill said, and Foxy Cope will live start soon. So yeah, that's right. So we'll talk more about the games on the weekend.
Right.
Games tomorrow. Big games this weekend. So
that's right. We'll be all set. Well, for Sean, Amedeus, I'm Jim. See you guys tomorrow, 9 a.m. And tomorrow, I'll actually have the computer fixed by the time we start the show.
All right.
There you go.
Avatar, Jim.
Right. Confidence is high. All right. Take care, guys, everybody.